So, how does the program work? There are multiple ways to qualify for residency and multiple ways to qualify for citizenship, but I'm going to talk to you about the recently created government bond program. And the reason I'm telling you about that is it's really the easiest, right? If you want to go and start a business and hire workers and live there and do a whole bunch of things, you know, they have those avenues as well. But the bond program is pretty simple and straightforward. You invest the equivalent of 1 million Bulgarian currency units, which is at this moment tied to the euro. It's tied to the euro. You know, the euro hasn't become the currency yet, but 1 million Bulgarian BGNs is the equivalent of 511,000 euros, which right now is about, I don't know, $515,000. So you can buy a government bond. It's investment grade, which is a lot better than some of the other European countries like Greece. I mean, Greece bonds are junk bond status. So it's investment grade. I think it's BBB. And you buy this bond for 500,000 euros, and the notional interest on that bond is 2% or something like that. You don't get the interest. That's the deal. You buy this 5-year bond, put your money in, the interest goes to the government to pay for your contribution towards, you know, society. It's like the economic payment that you're making. And at the end of the 5 years, you get your principal back, you know, which is guaranteed. Now, there's one bond that you buy at the beginning to get your residence, and 1 year later, after you've had your residence for 1 year, you can do a second bond, and then you get automatic citizenship. But there's a year between the residency and the citizenship. You don't have to do the second one. If you just get the first one, you can do nothing. And at the end of 5 years, you can apply for citizenship and get it for free. You don't have to do the second bond. But if you're, you know, in a hurry or you just want to get a European citizenship, you can get it through this two-step process: residency, citizenship. I would say 16 months is doable, because it takes about 4 months to work through all the paperwork at the beginning, submit it, go there, get your documentation, your ID card, become a resident, and then a year later can convert that with the second bond payment. All right, so yeah, that's the fast track. So an additional investment of another 511,000 euros, so another 515,000, you know, it gets you this fast track. Now, if you compare this program and this cost to several other programs, I mean, probably one of the best known in Europe is the program in Malta. In Malta, you are writing those exact checks, but those are payments to the government. They call it an investment, and it's an investment that you never get any return and you never get back your principal. So if you can call that an investment, I guess it's an investment. But I mean, the Malta passport is great. It's considered to be one of the top passports in the world. So I'm not knocking the program. But not everybody's got 1 million euros to pay for a passport. And by the way, as European programs go, even that is on the cheap side. Because in Cyprus, it's 3 million euros, and the new program in Austria is 10 million euros. All right? So, I mean, I find it a little bit hypocritical when the Europeans or Americans kind of poo-poo the Central American countries and the Caribbean countries for these types of programs. When they have them too, they're just at much higher dollar amounts. But the Bulgarian program, the cost equivalent is very competitive with, you know, Nevis St. Kitts and Anguilla, the various programs in the Caribbean. But instead of getting a Caribbean passport, you're going to end up with a European passport and essentially the right to live and work in the future anywhere you want. So if you want to go live in Malta, you can jump through the hoops, pay 1 million euros to get the Malta citizenship, or you can invest 1 million in the Bulgarian bond program. 5 years later, you get your money back. So the only thing you lost was the opportunity cost, what you could have done with that money, and of course the interest. But at 2%, you know, that's really not that much that's not really that much of a cost. All right. Let's see. As I mentioned, there are other ways to qualify. If you have business ideas and you're going to set up a real business and you want to go live there or hire workers, there are other ways that you can really put the money in your own company, but then you have to spend it and invest it and hire people and really create economic activity. And at the end of the day, that's what they really want. If you want to go there and be an entrepreneur, start businesses and hire workers and create economic activity, they say, God bless you, come on. We'll get you the residency really fast and then the citizenship 1 year later. If you don't want to do that, help. They use that money to retire government bonds that are at much higher rates. So it's basically saving the government a lot of money in interest to get rid of a bond that maybe is paying 8 or 10%, give you a bond that pays 2%, and oh, by the way, you don't even get the 2% because it goes back to them to pay for your citizenship. So it's not for everyone, but I think if you have a European orientation, it's, in my view, quite economical. There's the one with creating at least 10 jobs. A lot of these programs are modeled after similar programs in other countries, including the United States. A lot of people say, well, is this really, kosher to have these types of programs? Yes. The U.S. has been the leader in these types of programs for years and years. EB-5, EB-2, if you can invest $1 million in the U.S., or if it's a economically distressed area, half that amount, $500,000, create jobs, you get fast-track green card, fast-track citizenship. So the U.S. has really, kind of led the way in this area. And I think more and more countries are going to implement these types of programs for a variety of reasons, one of which, if you're going to invest significant money in any country, you want to know you have some protection. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a citizen, but you probably at least like to be a resident or have permanent residency, right? The last thing you want to do is invest a bunch of money, build a factory someplace, and then find out your immigration status is being canceled and you're getting kicked out of the country. It's not a really great way to, for a mentality for foreign investors.